Hey, Clinton community family, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We're finally back at our normal, Sunday Night Live, our community live groups. I mean, it's been a while. December almost now? Yeah. It got crazy in January, and we had to cancel a bunch of stuff. And then, last week was the Super Bowl, which is the only time I've watched a football game this year again. So. I just want to say real quick again, whoever prayed for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Rams to get to the Super Bowl, I need you to pray for my finances. Apparently you have a special touch with God because that was amazing that they actually made it. But it's great that we had a great time last week and everything. But now we're back at it, and we're going to talk about tough love. That's what our subject is for February because, of course, February is always about love. And I have Michelle and Nathan here again. Y'all said y'all been married 26 years?
Almost 26.
Almost 26 years.
2 months. Yep.
In 2 months? When is y'all's anniversary?
April 5th.
Okay. Y'all are almost exactly a month away from me and Paula's. Ours is March 3rd. So, but no, we're going into 15 years ourselves. And I know that and this is what I said when I started it off at the beginning of February. Relationships and love isn't always sunshine and unicorns. I mean, it's real life. It's disagreeing with each other. It's loving each other through, not seeing eye to eye. It's all that stuff. And tonight we're just going to sort of explore that, talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to sort of just, get some advice maybe that y'all can give to people who are in relationships and growing. But before we get all started, I want to remind y'all, please let us know, one, who's watching, two, make sure you like and share. As Nathan was saying, even though he's not an energetic person all the time, he said, smash that like button and that subscribe button. I'm with him. You got to smash that thing.
Smash it.
And you got to just, be a part of everything that we do here at Clinton Community. We're so glad that you would do all that. And with that being said, we're going to pray. So, God, I want to thank you for the opportunity that we get through this social media that we have. I know if like the disciples or the apostles were alive today, they would be finding the best way to utilize this platform to reach people with your message of redemption, your message of love, your message of hope, dear Father God, your message of relationships and bringing each other together. And I pray that we do justice to that today, that we help people in whatever way that we can, talking about tough love and dealing with situations in our lives, encouraging people and showing them who you are in us. Again, thank you so much for who you are, God, and what you're doing through us. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. So, Michelle and Nathan, the stuff I was talking about, how we're going to do this month is next week we're going to have another married couple that's had their own ups and downs with Tracy Jackson and his wife. And I know y'all have had your ups and downs, the times he's been deployed, you've shared and stuff like that. But what is some stuff that when it comes to tough love, sometimes that it was tough to love each other, or maybe it was real tough getting through, but love got y'all through? What's kind of just giving y'all some leeway of some stories that y'all may think of right off the top of your head?
Well, I mean, as we've gotten, over 25 years married, it's a lot easier, it seems like now. But there's still little tweaks we can make, but what are the toughest things?
Deployment was
Yeah.
one of the toughest.
Yeah.
And traveling, like if we go to visit the anxiety of going on a trip
Right.
is
Who has the anxiety going on the
Me.
trip? Now you?
Yeah.
What, you just don't like driving for long distances? Or?
No, she likes spare the moment kind of things. And
Okay.
I like more planned out things that I know what to expect. But I mean,
yeah.
Y'all learn how to balance that?
I'm used to
Well,
it.
we're yes. I mean, it's I'm very good at being unstructured.
Yeah, I'm with you. Me and Paul is the same way now. Y'all
Very
talking about.
good at being structured. So whenever I do want to plan a vacation, even though I plan the vacation, it still throws them off a little bit.
Yeah.
Still that
Yeah.
structure.
Because last week we went on vacation starting Thursday, so I mean the whole week I'm kind of stressing about it, even though I shouldn't be stressed about it, but I'm just used to doing that. Maybe that's from the military, but I mean, you kind of know something's coming up, so you backwards plan up to that point you're at right there.
Okay.
Okay, I got 4 days from now to do everything. What am I gonna, how am I gonna plan
To make
it
sure
out?
it's, yeah.
Yeah. So I just, just stress about it.
Okay.
But I mean, it seems like it gets easier as we do it more and more. But it's better to talk about it though, because when I tell you about it, you're like, wait a minute, why are you even stressed about that? Let's just get it done. So I mean, I try to deal with it myself. I know that's like harder on me,
Mm-hmm.
but then at the same time, you can tell,
Yeah.
like you can tell like I'm kind of on edge, not crazy on edge, but you can tell I'm kind of on edge the whole week.
And just reading the cues for each other kind of thing. Now, with that coming through time, has it, what has been the helpful thing, when the cue, like maybe you didn't pick up on the cues at first, what's been helpful to discuss that kind of stuff? Because I mean, I know, like I said, me and Paula is about 10 years behind y'all when being married, and there's still things that, I think any married couple, there's still things I'm learning, you know what I mean? And there's some things that we just recently, me and her, just had these long talks about with some cues that we missed, that me and her were completely missing each other's cues. What's helped y'all recognize maybe those cues, and what have y'all done to sort of acknowledge those things to help each other out with that stuff?
Well, I mean, unfortunately though, I try to ignore it, and I probably shouldn't do that. But now, just today though, we talked about I wanted to start a journal, and you write down, every single day. It doesn't have to be something, you don't have to write a novel, but every day you note like how you're feeling, and you could look back at that. Hey, I started to get kind of stressed out every week before we go on a little mini trip. Well, why is that? Put a little note on it. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Talk-
my
talk about
personality,
it.
I don't have to do a journal.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because you are a journal. You're just letting it.
she just does
But,
whatever.
but communication is a big
Yeah.
thing. Even this morning, I was like, "Were you there?"
I don't know.
I was like, "Go get."
Oh yeah, I was there. I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
goodness gracious, just
I
let
was
him come to
like-
church.
I was like, get some bananas and a Diet Sunkist, and I thought he would assume the Diet Sunkist was for me to drink.
Yeah.
But because I said it was with bananas.
He bought a
thought it
2
was
liter.
Well, he didn't though, because
Oh.
there's no 2 liter, so he bought the 6-pack. I was like, it ended up being perfect, but in his mind, it's like that's like all the time. You have to make sure whenever somebody says something, if you don't know it for sure, you have to go. So what you're saying is,
Yeah.
you want me to get you a 2 liter?
Yeah. What
That's
exactly?
not what I said. But then you just said.
But it could have been,
Diet
yeah,
Sunkist.
you could have put it in 2 separate sentences.
Yeah.
You said this and this.
So,
I was
no,
like, well,
and I'm
cool.
with him. I'd like because how guys work. If a guy looks at me and goes, "Hey, go buy this and this," I'm assuming these are corresponding things. He's looking for bananas and a 2 liter of whatever that is at the
What if he was going to eat the banana and drink the
because I feel like as a guy we would tell each other, "Hey man, I'm real hungry. Can you go get me a banana and to drink with that? Can you get me?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is.
Communication is like a huge.
And finding out how to communicate with each other, though, that's what I'm saying. Because every relationship is different. There's the cues are different. There, the communication and how you define words. The other day, me and my wife were having a discussion, and I said something. I can't even remember the word I used, and she instantly was like, "No, that's not right." And I was like, "Yes, you do this, this, and this." And she was like, "Oh, see, I take that word as completely different." And I was like, "Yeah, let's define what we're trying to say here." And the thing is the initial thing almost made it more of an argument than a discussion, because that's not true. It's like no, we're saying 2 different words. It feels like, and that's where it gets tough, man. Is when I hate to say it, when you pass each other, it's like you just missed.
Okay, you've been there 15 years. We've been there 26 years. It's kind of like the same thing with your relationship with God. If you don't spend time communicating and talking, and you're just passing by and not really engaging in each other, you're so not gonna have a good relationship. In this.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Like, you can tell. You know what I mean?
Now, I was going to ask, and I'm probably the worst. Like, I'm always realistic and honest. Rarely, I'm not that horrible. I don't know if there are people who are going, "Oh no, he's a pastor." I'm just honest. We don't have, like, me and Paula don't have like this set Bible study time that we have with each other. We don't set Bible study time for the kids. We do pray for each other at separate times, stuff like that. How has your personal relationship with Jesus and your relationship with each other, how do they I guess, would they ever cross each other? Do y'all have a Bible study time, a prayer time, or is it just sort of y'all let your own personal relationship happen with Jesus, and then you also have your personal relationship with each other? How do y'all work that out?
Yeah, we haven't really done anything together except for some on the road we do. Like, I read the Bible out loud, or I have a book, that I get, the devotion thing. But we just have our own personal relationship, because
And you encourage that
Yes.
separately. Yeah. Well, that's how we do our
if
things.
you please God, you gonna please
Yeah,
spouse.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm with you because there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, we pray together, or we read together, we do this," and there's a side of me as a pastor. I'm sort of just like, yeah, I don't really. She reads every day. I read well, I'd say every day. There's sometimes I don't get to read, but I read and we pray for each other. We do discuss it. So, but it's not like we're like, all right, it's Tuesday at 9, time for our Bible. Like we don't do that, and I've always felt weird because like there's a side of me that almost, I don't want to say ashamed, but it's almost like, why can't we be like everybody else? But then I sort of just realized what y'all just, if she's doing good in her relationship and I'm doing good in my relationship, it's almost shown out in our relationship.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we've always been in sync, moving to Clinton, doing other stuff. We've been in sync here in God Speak. So, but it's one of those things that I know that some people, man, like I said, I almost feel unspiritual because some people are like, we've been studying the whole book of the whole Bible, reading it together. And I'm like, how does that work? Because we're just not yeah, it does. I don't get it though.
But now, thinking the way our life is structured, though, you work from home, so there's no decompression time for you coming home from work.
Right.
To have a set time to like be with God, be with yourself, contemplate what happened, how you dealt with it, how to deal with it better. Same thing with me. I live so close to work. When I used to, for years drove to Fayetteville, I got that personal time with myself. I could decompress the thoughts of the day, just spend time alone with God. But maybe that's why we do that on vacations now.
Yeah.
We're driving an hour or two. We get
And you are decompressing together kind of stuff.
Yep.
Now, I know for us, one of the things that we've learned in our marriage, and I know that y'all have different likes in what y'all do, making sure that each of us have our own personal separate, I'd say decompression, but almost that our separate sanctuaries, our separate, because I know you have your garage outside that you do stuff in. Mm-hmm. How important has that been, and how have y'all balanced that kind of stuff out in y'all's relationship?
It's important. It needs like outdoor time, work on, I guess we just.
I know that for my
mental health.
Mental health, emotional well-being. I know, especially when I work behind a screen all day. Computer screen.
I'm with you.
I need like physical labor when I come home, and I tell her that I need an hour now just to go outside, like burn brush or do whatever.
Or be outside, or physically for me, I physically need to be outside of a building. Like I'm with you because I sit in front of a computer. It's like I really would like to know what a tree looks like. What I mean? It's like it feels like you're so disconnected.
Yeah, you can feel that tension.
Yeah,
like the tension in your body. You can tell it's not natural just to be inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then for my emotional self, I need socializing.
Right, yeah.
So
You
I
need to go out
and go to Walmart and just hate everybody.
Even if you don't know them, you're like, hey. They're like, are you a greeter here at Walmart? Nope, I just wanted to tell you, hey. No, but I do know that, I mean, that's good for you because I know that you and Paula, y'all take some time, y'all go out and do stuff. And I think one of the healthiest things for a relationship that a lot of people can learn from is learning how to be healthy apart.
Yes.
And letting you each be your own individual. Like Paula likes to go walk still. I mean, her and Simone still, they're actually making a schedule to make sure they get back into the walking on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. The only reason I'm walking is if I'm going to do something. I'm not just walking around the track to walk. That's not me. I mean, it's like when I see people jogging, the only reason I'm jogging is if something's chasing me. I mean, I'm not doing any of that for fun. But I respect that she has that, I mean, just the same way that like the times that I get to spend with my guy friends online, or when I go fly out to Chicago or something like that by myself, that utter respect to let us have our own sanctuary away. And a lot of relationships, man, without that, it becomes unhealthy. You feel smothered, or you feel almost like you don't have your own identity, and that takes away from you. Your own personal identity in a relationship, to me, is one of the important things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Paula to just be known as Eddie's husband. You know what I mean, around the church, and I don't want Eddie's wife. Yeah, well, it's your husband. I mean, I guess. Well, guys, cat's out of the bag. Oh, snap! No.
Yeah, but whenever you're saying about you go on a trip, just
Yeah.
to be with your friends. Paula doesn't do that. We're alike.
Yeah.
Because I go on trips to
Yeah.
do it, but he would rather just like work outside and do things around the house.
Yeah,
you know?
Paula wants to clean the house and stuff like that. I'm
But
like,
it's
I want to go.
But in your relationship, you have to like find what makes your spouse happy and be okay with. You know what I mean? And like
Even if it's not, even if it's not
Yeah,
what
yeah,
makes
yeah.
you happy. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right.
when you look and go, hey, you know, I don't have to have everything organized and in its place. That's not me. Like I'm OCD about certain things, but I'm not the kind of person that everything has to be in its special little place and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I'm much better with organized chaos. Like I know where it is. It's under that pile. You know what I mean? Like it's here, and you're like, how did you even know it was there? Because I knew it was there. That's how I work. To respect her enough to go, it's frustrating to me that you have to have all these things in an organized place. And there's times that I lose what I had something right here underneath that pile. Oh, I cleaned it all up. Where'd it go? I don't know. Now I've got to find everything again. I've had to, again, it's that learning to love and respect them. You know, everyone says opposites attract. I mean, you and Nathan are a good example of that. Me and Paul is a good example of that. But the only way they attract and work properly is when you respect the opposite. You know what I'm saying? You don't look and go, me and you don't force our spouses to be extroverts.
No.
You know what I mean? Me and Nathan are friends because we're friends. It's not like you were like, you've got to go be friends with someone. And you know what I mean? You and Paul are friends because y'all are friends. I wasn't like, hey, baby, you know, go meet. If you don't respect, and that's some of the toughest love is to not understand. I don't get why Paula wants to sit at home at times. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. And Nathan, I wouldn't get it even for you. Like as a dude, there's times I like to be by myself. Don't get me wrong, but holistically, I don't get the whole. Nope, I would rather seclude myself. So, the tough part of love is to let that person literally be that when you can't. I can't comprehend it. You know what I'm saying? So when Paula was like, I just need to be alone. I'm like, what? Like, no, nope. I just needed to be alone. I'm like, well. Let's be alone together. Nope, we're completely alone. And it's like, I don't understand what you mean. And it's tough because to me, I get out of a funk completely different.
Yeah.
And I know y'all do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being able to communicate that and look and go, hey, you know what? Right now, I don't need you to talk to me maybe. I don't need you to hold me or cuddle. I don't need any of that. I need to just let me go be. Let him go burn his little things or work on something in his barn and let him be. Because for extroverts, especially, there's times that it's, I don't want to let you be. I want to, what's wrong? Let's fix this together. You know what I mean? Let's do
Talk about it for hours.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't want to. And it's been hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it's
is tough love.
it's tough love because that's where you learn how to love past yourself.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, you love them more than what you want. And what you want is,
And if both of you are doing that, then it's called compromise.
yeah.
Right? Do you know
Yeah,
what
no,
I mean?
I completely
Like,
agree.
If he's loving me enough to let a hug in, and I'm loving him enough to let him be alone, then guess what? We both got a little bit of that tank filled, you know?
And like I said, and it's tough because the natural reaction to those things stem from your personal desires. You know what I mean? So if you see him sad, your personal desire is to make him happy, but it's in the way that makes you normally feel happy.
Right.
And it's difficult because the tough part of love is you have to figure out, well, how do I love them the way that they personally want to be loved?
Yeah.
And this is uncomfortable for me to love them that way. And it's, like I said, it's so tough because people will imagine, again, 15 years in, 20, almost 26 years in, you're still learning every single day the nuances of a marriage. And people sometimes just imagine like, oh, well, we're married and this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And no, man, it is. And I don't.
You're growing. I mean, you're growing yourself, so you're going to change every year.
And when I say work, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's hard work, but it's a labor of love. I genuinely have to work at paying attention and really being present in scenarios. And it's hard, man. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like 15 years in, and I'm looking and I'm like, man, I'm surprised we made it because there's been times. I mean, you smile, but there's been times. I know y'all been there. There's been times it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like we had a good run. Like,
Yep.
and I don't know. It's just I like having these kind of conversations with real people because, like I said, next week I'm talking to Tracy Jackson and his wife. I mean, it can't be easy being married to a detective.
Well, I mean, military too.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there was things at times you couldn't tell her. You know what I mean? And it,
Well, I mean, 8 years he was gone.
yeah. Oh.
Like literally gone. So,
And that has to be tough. Like, how did y'all keep it alive there?
Well, luckily we had the internet.
yeah,
That was halfway decent.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. We trusted each other too. I think because I saw a lot of issues like non-trusting and bad things happen when the service member goes away.
Yeah.
It's playtime.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And that has to
there's those issues. Yeah.
yeah, and it has to eat at you too, though. Even though you trust, it's one of those things that you trust.
It is definitely hard for me to be like a counselor to another service member where I'm like, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, that probably won't happen to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's horrible. It's happening to you.
Yeah.
And I try to come down to their level and not really make them understand, but just kind of like try to comfort them.
Yeah.
And they're 10,000 miles away from home.
That had to be tough love there.
But I think the worst thing though is, say if we're on our base in Iraq or Afghanistan, wherever, if somebody gets hurt, they lock everything down. There's no communications coming out of there at all for maybe a week. Those are the hardest parts because I'm like, well, she doesn't know whether I got hurt, somebody else got hurt. She doesn't know what happened, and that's the hardest thing.
How constant could y'all talk to each other when you were stationed over there?
Oh, usually every day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes you were typing me from the.
Yeah, we used to have like the in the good old days back in like '04, we had these trucks. They had two-way communications on the truck.
Really?
It was like he's texting me, but it was coming as an
Yeah,
email.
it looks like a Western Union telegram.
Really?
We weren't supposed to do that, but we did that.
Okay.
I'm out of the military now, so I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter now. What are you gonna do? Yeah, kick you
The
out.
first time I got employed, I was pregnant. So,
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah,
so I had that to like keep me company.
so yeah, and if something happened, like I was supposed to come home, but it still took 2 weeks to get home. It's not like you can get on a plane and just go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But again, like to make it through that.
Communication.
Yeah.
And even when he said, just like he said, if it was on lockdown, I was communicating with other wives, and we were like, "Did you hear? Did you?" Because we knew when one person got in, we would know what was going on. You know what I mean? 'Cause that person
So y'all had a communication amongst
we had,
yourselves too,
We
yeah.
had like a little family. Yeah. I can't remember what her name was. Remember Lacey?
Yeah.
Lacey. Yeah. He was deployed at 04, and she was.
With
our,
now you talking about Miss Lacey, like related to Miss Nancy and them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because what was her?
I can't think of her husband's name. She was just called Lacey.
Carter.
Carter. That's it.
No, I don't. She was just Lacey though. She
I
had
know,
no
I
last
know.
name.
Sergeant Carter was her.
Sergeant Carter was yeah, but like I said, Lacey was.
He would-
Was that in 04?
He wasn't in my unit, but he was in my unit when I got back. He might have deployed with the whole brigade because that was like
Yeah.
Anyway,
4,500
I think
people.
she was like one of the family leads. I don't know which deployment it was, but
Yeah.
we always had like a lead and.
It's always so much harder for National Guard too because you don't have a base. Like everybody lives at the base or around the base.
Yeah.
So you guys get deployed. Everybody comes together. It's a big to-do. National Guard, you're from all over a state or maybe a couple states. Mm-hmm. So I just disappear and she goes on with her life.
Yeah. And then you just show back up,
I
yeah.
think it was probably
She's
harder
not really
for
a
them.
dependent.
Yeah.
Like you're a dependent. You have a service member. When you're in National Guard, she just like still doing her thing.
Yeah.
It's just like I disappear. So
But just making
seems
sure
a lot
that y'all
harder.
had time, like
Yeah.
how much of a time difference was it?
Oh gosh, I had to like when I listened for Yahoo Instant Mr. Drew go Yahoo, and I would wake up because it was in the middle of the night.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
And yeah, you're not a nighttime person,
No,
so
I mean, when
yeah.
I heard that thing go off, I got up and I typed to him, turned the camera on, and
Oh wow, yeah.
and I worked from home, so I had the camera there in case he did, So it was. The last deployment was the worst because that was the least communication that we got.
Oh, yeah,
wow.
'cause-
The last
yeah.
one, because he was in a truck like driving.
yeah, like
12,
we went out
13
for a week one time. We were on a road,
So that was
moving a couple miles an hour on a road for 7 days straight.
So our advice is
Yeah.
communication. That's our number one thing. You must communicate.
And learn how to communicate with each other the way that
Like you could be like living with them, but you have to communicate. Like you can't just live there and walk
No.
by and do dinner and to have this like structure. No, you have to talk. You have to communicate. Ooh, with those three questions, I had them on my thing. What are you concerned about? What do you wish for? And how are you going to make it happen?
Yeah.
Those were the things.
Those were for the marriage conference.
Yep.
Amazing.
But also finding out the best way to communicate with each other. You know what I mean? Like honestly, again, this is something that me and Paul didn't have quite a long distance relationship with y'all, but when we were engaged, we did. Figuring out the right tones to say to each other, the right words to say to each other, because you can communicate all day long and you can communicate poorly all day long at the same time. You know what I mean? You can say stuff that shuts the other person down. You can, and it's not even that you mean to. You're trying to communicate, but you're communicating poorly. I think finding and I hate to be cliche, but the right love language, the right words to say.
We have our own language.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and you have your own way. Again, y'all both know, and any married couple that's been married long enough, there's times that you can be in a scenario and you can connect eyes and y'all instantly know, yeah, it's time to go, or hey, this isn't a good scenario. Like you can know, or you'll look at each other and there'll be that instant where like you're like laughing in your head because you know what they're thinking and they're saying. And it's one of those things that it's again, good communication is what you're looking for, because communication can be poor or good, and finding the good communication to be, how do you build up each other? How do you build up the individual? Then how do you build up the relationship? And like I said, the tough part about love is there's no set formula. So sometimes it's sloppy science, and it's like you do an experiment and it explodes, and you're like, well, that wasn't a good idea, and you try again and again until it works right. So. What would be, I guess, if you said it, that's the main key, is just communicating.
I feel like that's the most important.
Yep.
If you please God, you please your spouse. Communication.
And treat others like you want to be treated. I mean,
Yeah.
the golden rule, it goes a long ways.
Yeah, like talk to her how you would want to be talked to.
And yeah, don't joke. There's places to joke and places not to joke. Stay. Have guardrails on everything, pretty much, and don't joke. Yeah.
Know the times and places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So.
I'll leave it at that. not between me and her, but other people we see. We're like, I would kind of stay away from that. And you wonder why they have issues going down the road. Maybe that's why.
But no, but that's all good stuff. Like I said, love isn't just. I mean, I've not met a couple that it's rainbow and sunshine all the time. And if it is, they're liars. I'm just going to be honest. Like, if anyone out there, if you know someone that's like, oh, our marriage is, the picture perfect thing, they're probably lying to you, because you're an individual with your own thoughts. And love is tough because, like I said, sometimes you expect something from someone, they don't do it, and it hurts you.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know they hurt you. You know what I mean? And then there's times that the way you talk to each other, and you wonder, oh, well, I wasn't being rude to you, but the other person received it as that because it's poor communication. And I think too many times that in church, and I'm glad we had that marriage conference last week, too many times in church, we try to sell a product to people about what marriage is supposed to be without being as transparent and honest and going, man, 15 years in, and there's been a handful of times it was hard. 26 years in, there's been a handful of times it was hard. And people need to hear that, because people need to know, when you go into a marriage, it's going to get really, really tough. And it's going to be times that it tests you. But like you said, if you're pleasing God, if you're in that relationship that you should be, God has a way of reining us in when we may disagree with our spouse or someone else. And we're like, oh, I'm so right. And God's like, why don't you come here, man? And then you're like, I thought I was right the whole time. But I think it's important. If you will, Michelle, man, it's about 6:20. If you'll close us out in prayer and everything, and we just want to thank y'all for being here tonight. But yeah, if you'll close us out in prayer real quick.
Dear Lord, thank you for this night, and we just want to
Guys, we want to thank y'all. Thank you, Michelle and Nathan, again for being here. We want to tell you, if no one else told you today, we love you, we believe in you, and we're just excited that you be here, and we believe that God has a great plan for you. God bless.